once again violated the airspace of a NATO partner, Turkey, to carry out airstrikes.
I'm also concerned that Russia is not targeting ISIL, but instead attacking the Syrian opposition and civilians.
The war of words is ramping up as well. U.S. officials are furious that Russian bombers appear to be hitting Syrian opposition groups backed by the CIA. Moscow emphatically claims it's targeting ISIS. The White House is accusing Russia of trying to shift the balance of power in Syria, repeatedly striking outside ISIS and Syrian government-controlled areas and into rebel territory.
I don't think President Putin is playing chess. He's playing checkers.
At what point does the president say to Vladimir Putin, cut it out?
Well, I think the president has made quite clear that Russia should not be interfering with the 65-member international coalition that is seeking to degrade and ultimately destroy ISIL.
Moscow says it's agreed to another round of military-to-military talks with the U.S., like the one shown here on Russian television, to avoid any accidents. But it will be tough for both sides to come off hardening positions.
This approach is tantamount to pouring gasoline on the fire of the Syrian civil war.
President Obama, who's told his team he will continue to support the Syrian opposition, is coming under criticism from all sides, including his 2008 rivals, Hillary Clinton.
That we should be putting together a coalition to support a no-fly zone. Because look, I think it's complicated, and the Russians would have to be part of it.
And John McCain.
I think we should definitely have some more boots on the ground. Not a lot, but we better do something.
But as the president told veteran groups, seen here in this little-known White House video, he's adamant he's not launching new wars.
Right now, if I was taking the advice of some of the members of Congress who holler all the time, we'd be in like 7 wars at that point. I'm not exaggerating.
Now, just last week, Russian President Vladimir Putin said he was ruling out the use of ground troops in Syria. Now the Kremlin is saying a, quote, volunteer force may soon be fighting there. The White House once again denounced those moves and warned Moscow is heading into a quagmire. Wolf, as for Hillary Clinton's call for a no-fly zone, the White House has repeatedly said the president does not favor that. Wolf.
All right, Jim Acosta, thanks very much. Joining us now, Republican would be given the time change, October 9th, here in the United States. It's the 70th anniversary of the founding of the so-called Workers' Party in North Korea. And normally on a day like that, they do something explosive, potentially like launch some sort of missile. What are you hearing?
Well, that's exactly what we're hearing. In fact, if you look at the arc of foreign policy of this administration, there is failure on every front. Crimea, Syria, and now North Korea. The administration's policy of strategic patience has been a strategic failure. And we're just a few days away from what we assume will be some kind of a rocket launch. They'll say they're launching a satellite, but the bottom line, it's the same kind of technology that's used to launch that will be a ballistic missile. And they're going to do it despite numerous sanctions against them. Strategic patience has allowed them to develop 20 nuclear warheads. In 5 years, we anticipate the North Korean regime to possess 100 nuclear warheads. Our policy is a failure, and we need something different, and that's why myself, along with Senator Rubio, Senator Risch, have introduced a sanctions regime that will mandate sanctions, force the president to deal with Congress, put in place cyber protections, and make sure that we are protecting human rights against the atrocious acts of the Kim Jong-un regime.
But the regime is already under enormous sanctions from the U.S. and the international community. What additional sanctions are you proposing that could have an impact?
Well, these are more passive sanctions. Unfortunately, what's happening right now, the strategic patience policy has allowed the administration to cherry-pick sanctions, including a couple last week that were extended sanctions against 2 proliferators. What our legislation calls for is mandatory sanctions unless the administration comes to us securing national security waivers and gives an excuse to Congress about why there should be an exemption. This is sanctioning against proliferation activities, weapons of mass destruction. This puts in place a policy the United States will use to respond to North Korean cyber activity. North Korea views their cyber capability as an asymmetric tool against South Korea, against the United States. They've been developing their ballistic missile program. It's been indigenized, meaning that they can produce it there within North Korea, not relying on outside technical capabilities. Our policy has failed. We need to recognize that. We need something new, and our legislation will do that.
We'll see what happens on Friday, October 9th here in the United States, October 10th already in North Korea. We're all bracing for some sort of North Korean move. Senator, thanks very much for coming in. Corey Gardner of Colorado. Coming up, we'll have the latest on South Carolina's flooding emergency. Major highways, rail lines, they're blocked. More dams are threatened. New evacuations may be ordered also. Startling revelations from the mother of that gunman in the mass shooting at an Oregon college.
Devastated South Carolina, a massive rebuilding effort that could cost more than $1 billion. And residents are still not in the clear. Floodwaters overwhelming dams near Charleston, as officials cautiously eye rivers still pushing the water toward the coast. Though the storm itself has passed, more evacuations are expected.
You can see where the water is covering over that road right there, and the cars are still trying to go through it.
While some roads are starting to reopen, many are still shut down, including a major section of I-95. About 80 miles of the busiest highway in the state remain desolate. Lanes usually packed with traffic, now empty, with transportation officials inspecting overpasses and bridges for safety.
We would like to get it open as fast as we can, but like I said, we want to make sure it's safe before we let the motoring public get back on.
Highway Patrol says the cost in lost commerce is immense, and getting it reopened will not be easy.
A lot of people taking a part in this, and we want to make sure it's safe, but it's definitely a task.
Governor Nikki Haley warning residents to not take risks.
People are starting to go around barriers. This is not safe. We are doing this to protect you.
While the waters recede and the authorities calculate the financial toll, the loss of life is staggering. And as crews get to areas previously underwater, they fear the death toll could rise.
What I saw was disturbing, and it is hard to look at the loss that we are going to have. But everything will be okay.
Boris Sanchez, CNN, Manning, South Carolina.
Vice President Biden, for that matter, the aftermath of these historic floods?
No, I have not. But our officers and staffs have been in touch, but I have not spoken with them personally. I want to thank President Obama, though. Governor Haley issued a verbal request 2 days ago, and within 1 day, President Obama responded positively. And I spoke a couple of hours ago with Secretary Johnson, Jay Johnson of the Homeland Security, and he is coming here on Friday morning. We've talked about the various forms of disaster relief that can be gotten for people. I noticed that your reporter was in Manning. That's Clarendon County. That's one of the counties that's been approved for public assistance, but has not been approved for individual assistance. But it was very hard hit. And it may be because county officials aren't used to this kind of stuff, and therefore I don't think they've done the paperwork that needs to be done. So my staff is working with them now, trying to make sure that the paperwork gets in so that the individuals in these counties can get the kind of relief that they need. There are two other counties like that, Berkeley and my home county of Sumter. So we'll work with all three of them. So by the time the secretary gets here on Friday, we want to be able to present him with these written requests.
We've heard, Congressman, that this could be $1 billion, maybe even a whole lot more to repair, to restore some normality. And first of all, have you ever seen anything like this in your state of South Carolina before?
No, I was here for Hugo. I remember as a child, Diane, I remember Hazel. Nothing like this. Hugo was nothing like this for South Carolina. We had a lot of vegetation torn up, farming, trees, but we're talking about dams, about 10 or 12 of them. We're talking about 14 lives have been lost. Nothing like that happened with any disasters that I've experienced in my 75 years.
What kind of estimates in terms of damage, the cost? How much money do you think you're going to need?
Oh, $1 billion will only get us started. Because I can tell you, when you're washing away these earthen dams, we've got to start mitigation. I've instructed my staff that do good for disaster relief, both on the public side and the private side. But let's start talking about mitigation. What we need to do to restore these dams, repair these bridges. We're getting a good lesson in why we ought not ever vote against relief for other communities. I remember having an argument argument with some of my colleagues when Sandy struck New Jersey, an unnatural condition for our constituents to be in. And so we have to remember, we saw Katrina down in Louisiana, Mississippi. We saw Sandy in New York and New Jersey. We now have whatever name we want to put on this. Everybody gets their turn in the barrel. And so we ought not ever deny assistance to communities because we never know when our number is coming up. It just came up, and I would hope that nobody holds us against it.
One final question. Your family, your house, your friends, are they okay?
My family is okay. My house.
Hello and welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel. Welcome new subscribers. Welcome for this even pushing the red subscribe button. Thank you. And please, I'm trying to build something here. Something that's unedited, straight unscripted, straight off the wall, straight do your thing, straight just, pay attention to your surroundings. Let's not get captured in the matrix. Let's not forget them taking down the 10 Commandments in Oklahoma City, because that's where this is at. I'm actually from Oklahoma City. I was there during the federal bombing, and yeah, besides the point, let's not get captured in deja vu. We've seen this once. They're gonna do it, trade it with the Baphomet, so they're taking it down. All right, show you a couple of pictures. I don't know if I can do that or not, but bam, 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 bam. You see they all in daylight, right? Look, but this picture in particular is at nighttime. He said he would come like a thief in the night. They come and took him, and like the thief in the night. All right, let's jump. I want to read you something from the bottom of this. It's something very weird. I thought I should bring this to your attention. They're talking about its placement in the Capitol. Prompt requests of several groups to have their own monuments installed, including the Satanic Church in New York. Wanted to erect a 7-foot-tall statue of the Baphomet, which is going around on YouTube right now. You can research that on your own. I ain't putting no Baphomet on my damn page. But it says a go-ahead figure with horns, wings, and long beard. Okay, the leader of Nevada and animal rights group of the the spiritual church of the Flying Spaghetti Monsters also made their request. That's what I wanted to show you. And if you want to see what that's at, that's right here. Coming from AP on my own sign-in page. I'm actually signed into this page. Yeah, but that's what I wanted to show you. I'm sorry for the ones that believe in God. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I believe He's the only way to heaven. Don't want to get too spiritual on my page, but this is what this is about. And yeah, all right, that's all I got to say. I hope you believe. I hope you believe in something. Hope you believe in your puppy. Hope you believe in your goldfish in the bowl. Hope you because if you die, guess what? That motherfucker gonna keep on swimming, baby. He gonna keep on swimming. And that's all I got to say about that. Peace.
That is not being brought up to the American public right now. But in this video, we're going to break down a lot of important information that's going to make total clear sense of what exactly is happening, not only behind this beautiful photo of these two world leaders, but